What's up everyone, my name is Ben and today I'll be talking about something really interesting. Today I'll be talking about the Xiaomi Poco Phone F1, whatever you want to call it, and I'll be talking about 5 different problems that the Poco Phone F1 has. Don't get me wrong, Poco Phone F1 or the Poco F1 at the moment is my favorite device out of all of them, but there are a few things that you need to consider, there are a few cons that you need to keep in mind when you're deciding if this should be your future phone or not. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. The first thing, and this is probably the most familiar to all of you, is the fact that Pocophone F1 does not support Netflix or Amazon Prime HD. It only supports 540p, and that is because they don't have the proper certificate that the phone needs to have in order to be able to stream content in 720p. Now, for most of us that don't really use either Netflix or Amazon and are just mainly on YouTube, this won't be a problem, but for maybe for the US or the UK that are more focused on Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, this will be a big problem. Therefore, this phone does not have the potential to really succeed in those markets just because the media consumption in 720p is so high over there. Now, we may have an update coming that will fix this, but I wouldn't count on it, so definitely keep this in mind that you may not be able to stream Netflix or Amazon in 720p. The company claims that the Pocophone Poco F1 has stereo speakers, and that is just not true. Here's what they did. They have a speaker on the bottom of the phone, and they use the earpiece as like the second speaker, but the thing is the earpiece only provides about 10% of the volume while the actual speaker provides about 90%. Therefore you can't really say that these two speakers are stereo speakers. They're just two speakers, with the second one being extremely weak, if I can call it that. These two speakers are not stereo speakers, and in my opinion, Xiaomi or the Pocophone is only using that feature as a marketing strategy. Build quality. It's also not ideal. Sure, you're only paying $300 for this phone, but the phone is made entirely out of plastic. It's also made of cheaper materials. If you're like me and use a case all the time on your device, this won't be a problem for you since you'll be just using a case on your phone and you can basically pick out any design you want. But if you like rocking your phone without a case, you will always be noticing that not good feeling plastic. It makes the whole phone look a little bit and feel a little bit cheap, and that is just not ideal. And in my opinion, Poco F1 could have been slightly improved design and material wise without really bumping up the costs. Durability. It's also one of my concerns. I have watched many drop videos of the Pocophone F1. In fact, I have also watched a video by Jerry Rig Everything, and he mentioned that the phone is not as durable as some other flagships, but that is to be expected as the company really tried to save as much money as possible by making this phone out of more cheap materials, and therefore they sacrifice the durability. The phone does have Gorilla Glass, but it's only generation 3, if even that. Therefore, you also need to be careful if you're rocking this phone without a case, because if you drop it, there's a high chance that you will break it. There's been a drop test video made where they dropped the phone from 3 feet and the display cracked, so you definitely need to be careful. Finally, it's the big bezels and the front design. The Poco F1 has insanely big notch at the top, and the bezels aren't small either. Therefore, this phone is kind of, well, it's not as attractive as maybe some other phones. For example, if we compare it to the Vivo V11 Pro, that phone has a crazy good looking front. You also have phones like you have the Honor Play, which also looks really good on the front with that minimal notch and bezel design. But with the Poco F1, you really have huge bezels and also a big notch on the top, which just doesn't contribute to a good looking phone. So these are pretty much 5 different problems or gripes that kind of bothered me with the Poco F1. Please let me know in the comments below what you think about the Poco F1, what you think this phone lacks, and what is not as good as it should be. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.